Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the THREEOHTAKE, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Ooh, welcome back to the THREEOHTAKE, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 382. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate! Uppercuts from Nate on YouTube. Check it out.
And some solid dance moves.
And some dance moves. Yeah, Nate's intros, for those who don't watch YouTube, which, why are you not watching YouTube?
Rude if you're not. Rude.
Subscribe, please.
I would like for you to purchase one of those things that goes in your car where you can, you get the little magnet in the back of your phone case. Pop that bad boy up, throw on YouTube, risk a ticket, risk hitting someone so you can see my intro.
We may need to put some sort of legal disclaimer on here for the advice that you just shared. But
this is official
we are not
legal
recommending
advice.
No, legally
I'm
we are
a lawyer.
not recommending. No, you're not. Nate is not a lawyer, actually.
I am in season 2 of Suits.
No.
I know what I'm talking about.
Nate is not a lawyer, and he is not recommending that you watch our YouTube while operating a motorized vehicle. However, if you have an opportunity, please. We don't ask much of you. Just hit the subscribe button. In fact, you don't even have to watch the videos. You don't have to. I mean, it'd be great if you did. You don't have to engage with us on YouTube, but just hit the subscribe button. It helps us out greatly. With that said, buy or sell. What do you got today for us on this fine
buying,
Thursday?
And it's a layup. It's an easy layup. No pun intended. I'm buying Aaron Judge being on the Jordan team. 3 jacks yesterday. Just got an update. Literally this second right now. Hit a 4th this morning. 4 and 5 at bats. The Jordan brand expects excellence.
I know you're not saying this after that photo that you saw from his photo shoot, correct? I know you're not saying that, right?
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. You know the photo that I'm referring to. This photo. I'll pull it up for you.
In the sleeveless? That one?
You'll see it.
I think you're just jealous, my friend.
No.
You wish you were built like that?
No,
I wish I was built like that.
Has nothing to do with his build. Trust me. This photo. What are we doing? Who approved this photo?
Yeah,
Who approved this, dude?
That's an oversight by the Jordan team for sure.
No, I don't think it's an oversight. I think they just wanted to remind anybody that comes into the family, just remember the king that you're dealing with here. We'll welcome you in with open arms, but we're going to make sure you're reminded of the royalty that you're surrounding yourself with. Whoever thought this was a good idea.
Not a good idea.
Embarrassing. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you can find it on our Facebook page, but they recreated Jordan's 6-ring photo where he's got his hand up, he's holding his head up, and you can see all the rings on his hand. And then you got Judge doing the same pose with a ring on his ring finger, and it's the Jordan logo. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
I don't love that. I love every other part of it. The drip. There's crazy drip now between the cleats, the gloves, the armband.
No, he's following right in Jeter's
gear.
footsteps, correct?
Yeah. Jeter was one of the first ones. He was the first one to wear baseball stuff. That was Jordan. But CC is a part of that team. Pretty sure Adam Jones was. There was a bunch of guys doing it. But yeah, it's obviously working. Single-handedly ended the streak. Got that dub. Wouldn't let it get to 10.
We'll get into that.
And
what
then
is it with
starts
you
off this morning with another one.
The last couple episodes, you've just been spoiling our topics with your buy-sell. So
yeah, no one knew that the streak ended. You're right.
I'm going to make an objective decision to bring your buy-sell to a screeching halt so as not to spoil anything else.
If they lost a 10th one, you would have immediately said, I need to start this, and you would have bought it, and it would have been the first part of this. So everyone here knows that the streak ended, and Judge did it on his own.
That's great. We're going to talk about that a little later. My buy-sell, I'm buying the idea, and we've talked about it before, but it resurfaced with with Justin Verlander and Alex Cora. I'm buying the concept of a hot mic streaming service.
100%.
As I get older and I have like a little bit more money, understanding like what I would spend money on, getting a better idea of that, I would absolutely spend money on a streaming service for a MLB hot mic.
Yeah. We don't need like a brand new truck, just give us a streaming service, $10 a month. Yes. I'm watching Hard Knocks right now, which is obviously like HBO's version of the NFL stuff. And the raw behind the scenes hot mic stuff. Chef's kiss. It's money. Like I don't understand why this isn't a thing already. Stupid.
I would absolutely
give it to it once a week. Like imagine that. Once a week.
Yeah, I mean, Major League Baseball loves they've recently fallen in love with this idea of like special event games, like the Friday night Apple TV game, the Sunday morning Peacock game. Give us one game a week. Make it the most boring. Like, what's the most boring day of the week for baseball? Monday. Give us the hot mic game on Monday.
Right.
Get people's weeks. I mean, what are we talking about? That's $1 million idea. Get us started off on the right foot on a Monday with a hot mic game, because everything that's coming out of the mouths of these players are pretty much how people are feeling sitting at their cubicle at their office.
Yep.
Dropping F-bombs left and right. So I'm all in. Give me the hot mic streaming service. That's what I'm buying today. We do have a voicemail before we get into the unfortunate Shohei / Mike Trout news. So let's run through the voicemail here real quick.
Hey guys, John here. I first off, I wanted to welcome Nate to the tribe of Cubby Blue. The lifelong Cubs fans, welcome to the tribe.
Already accepted.
I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on something. I've been looking at the standings lately, and I'm not really feeling inspired by the Rangers nor the Astros. I feel like the Astros have only kept pace with the Rangers because the Rangers have been so bad, it seems, since the All-Star break, and the Mariners have caught up and made up so much ground. But two things. One, what are your thoughts on the Mariners' chances of actually taking the West and becoming the 2 seed in the AL? And then out of the Rangers and the Astros, if one of them wasn't to make the playoffs, which one would you think it wouldn't be? I'm looking at the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays deserve a shot in there, and Kyle, call me crazy, but I think the Red Sox, because of the Astros and the Rangers and just their seeming incompetence lately, it seems like the Red Sox might actually stand a chance to slide into that last wild card. But wanted to give that up to you guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, call me crazy. I know last episode I facetiously said that I've never wavered on the Red Sox. I'm all in after the sweep of the Yankees. But as you might expect, I'm kind of back to where I was. I'm just the more I watch this team, I would rather see a team like the Mariners or the Astros, I mean, I don't like the Astros, but I would rather see a team like that back their way in than the Red Sox just get in by default, because I think the quality of postseason baseball that you're going to get from either two of those teams is far. Even the Blue Jays, as much as we've talked about the Blue Jays, I would rather see any of those teams in at this point, because I just think the quality of postseason baseball is going to be that much better. And as a baseball fan, yes, a Red Sox fan, but as a baseball fan, I want to see, especially after some certain moments that we've seen throughout the postseason last couple of years, like, the Phillies last year. I just want to see good baseball to round out the season. Like, that's all I want. And the Red Sox, they'll get you, they'll hook you one series, and then the next series you're like, I never want to watch this team play baseball again. And it's the most frustrating thing. And I'm sure if you've listened to this podcast, you've listened to me specifically, you've picked up on my back and forth mindset on this team. It's entirely too frustrating, but I like the teams that are in there right now. The Mariners playing fantastic. The Astros, yes, have been sliding a little bit, treading water, I guess you could say. And then the Rays, surprisingly, have been, I think I saw that they're
what the heck, man?
7-2, something like that, without Wander Franco. So
7-3 in their last 10.
7-3 in their last 10. So they seem to have righted the ship. So all that to say, of the American League West, though, because I believe that's what the question was originally about. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like the buzz surrounding the Rangers has
fizzled,
dropped off a cliff. To put it,
that's what they get for trying to take the roll call.
Okay, well, I mean, as it stands right now, as of Thursday, still hold the division. They're up there with the Guardian or the Twins and the Orioles. But I don't know, man. It might be recency bias, but I could see I can envision a world where the Mariners take the West. Unless the Astros figure it out in the month of September, which I don't know what they're, I'm actually.
It's what they do. Did you just hear that come out of their mouth?
I know.
It's wild.
You preach that. Props to you. That's one of your main talking points when it comes to the Astros. Is doesn't matter what happens during the middle.
They know how to clutch up.
Yeah, they lock it in once a calendar flips to September.
Yeah. Look, we started the year, I think everyone did, talking about two of the three wild card, or two of the what am I trying to say? Holy crap. Where are we going to get three teams from the AL East? That's what we thought. It switched. Now we're talking about getting three teams from the West. But I agree with you. I think I'm rooting for, because obviously the Yankees are out, so I'm just rooting for good ball in the postseason. And I think that the Red Sox aren't equipped to do what, we grab teams of examples like the Phillies last year. They're not equipped the same way.
No.
So I don't think they make that run. I'd rather see teams that can make a run. The Blue Jays are equipped that way.
But to that point, and this is the crap I say every year, and for their sake, it kind of worries me, because I'm like, this is exactly what the front office wants in Boston. I don't know if you've seen, but they've adopted. Chaim Bloom referred to this team as underdogs in an interview recently, following the deadline. And this team, I don't know if you've seen any of it anywhere, but they're now wearing underdog shirts. And so they're adopting this whole screw you mentality. I don't know who it's addressed to. I don't know if it's addressed to Chaim or if it's just kind of their rallying cry. But this is the kind of crap that I talk about every year, where teams you don't see getting in adopt something like this, and then they somehow get in, and then you see how it goes from there. I don't like that. But going back to the Astros scenario, or their outlook, I should say, according to Tankathon, they have the 28th toughest remaining schedule. They have 3 against the A's, 6 against the Royals, 3 against the Tigers, 3 against the Padres, and 3 against the Yankees. And that's just highlighting their easier.
That's the Astros?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a breeze. Sounds like a breeze. And you got guys that have done it before. Been there, done that. Know what the end game is. You start smelling that. You know what I mean? All those guys have rings. They're like, I can smell it. It's getting close.
On the other hand, the Mariners have the 24th toughest remaining schedule. 6 against the A's.
I think they're both in. What about the Blue Jays? Where are they sit?
3 against the Royals, 3 against the Mets, 3 against the Angels. The Blue Jays?
Yeah. And then the Rangers, 2 of those.
Rangers are middle of the pack. They are 15th. And then the Blue Jays 25th. So you got the Mariners at 24, Blue Jays at 25. So I'm not selling out on the Rangers just yet.
I'm selling the Rangers.
Not
I'm not
at
selling
all.
the Rangers.
But they've got a little bit more of an uphill climb, considering 1, that they've slid a little bit, and 2, strength of schedule.
Yeah. Also, last thing, love being a Cubby fan. Feels good.
I love how Nate gets essentially the auto invite to the Cubby faithful, and I'm over here still waiting on a single Phillies fan to welcome me into the fan base. I don't know what it is about Phillies fans. Like, why wouldn't you?
They're protective, I think. I think people in Chicago are just like, hey.
If there's been anybody
let's get
that
a
has
hot
come
dog
to
and go
the
watch a
support of their star MVP,
I'll give you
Bryce
credit.
Harper, it's me. So let's not pull the protective card, because I've been at that guy's defense when people wanted to just rag.
I think
on the
they
guy.
love their own and they hate everyone else. They feel like they're on an island, Philly Island.
I'm not claiming to be one of theirs. It's an honorary situation we're talking about here. I just need one Phillies fan. Just one. Let's talk about another MVP. What everybody's talking about right now, just taking over the baseball world. The news of Shohei Ohtani being diagnosed with a UCL tear. Before we get into this, though, I had this idea before we hopped on. I wanted, just as like a little flashback, I wanted to take you guys back to March when we were out in Phoenix for the World Baseball Classic, and we were able to stop in for a spring training game in, what is it, Tempe Diablo?
Tempe Diablo.
For an Angels spring training game, and we walked out of there like talking about the Angels as you would expect us, circa 2021, 22. And you'll hear that as we talk about it. I'll play this brief clip. But if you've paid attention to how we felt about the Angels this year, I think that little visit maybe planted a seed where we're like, okay, because you go back to the Hot Takes episode, we were in a little bit. At least I was in a little bit on the Angels. And I said, you know what? We've ragged on this team for far too long. We've seen.
It was also the most jam-packed spring training game I've ever been to in my life.
That was wild. And so then we do
it's
that.
like a freaking concert.
You see how the World Baseball Classic plays out. Shohei, Trout. You're like, okay, this year has a special, magical feeling to it. But I want to play this as like a little flashback just to give you an idea how we felt coming out of that spring training game.
Tempe Diablo Stadium, home of one of the most fraudulent teams in Major League Baseball. The LA, Los Angeles, Angels of Anaheim.
City of Angels,
California Angels of LA, I believe is what they go by.
Saw Joe Adele strike out multiple times, so that's par for the course.
Yeah.
Saw perennial comeback player of the year candidate Anthony Rendon. I think he's just always going to be in that category.
Perennial. Here's the thing about the LA, Los Angeles Angels of California, Anaheim. They are a good team. They've got a good, on paper, they've got a good mix of guys, but it's just never enough.
It'll just never cut it. It'll never be what it needs to be.
I just don't understand. But
Ohtani's just going to walk out of here, no problem.
No regrets for Ohtani.
So that's,
we knew.
We just knew, man. I think we were holding out hope that this year would be different, but I think deep down, and I'm not trying to rewrite our history here, but I'd be lying if I said I was surprised, because at the end of the day, after waking up to the news this morning about Shohei's UCL, my mind immediately went to this team's cursed. And that was before I saw that Mike Trout was placed back on the IL. He was off the IL for a day.
Yeah.
One day. Yeah. If you're Shohei Ohtani, this year was shaping up to be quite a magical season. The World Baseball Classic.
Coming off an MVP.
You had optimism about the playoffs.
No, wait. He didn't win MVP. What are we talking about? About to win an MVP. Coming off
About
MVP
to win
2
MVP.
years ago.
Yeah.
Second MVP.
You had optimism about the playoffs.
MVP of the World Baseball Classic, right?
Yeah.
No, maybe not. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What?
I think you did.
I don't know.
All right.
Just rambling.
Let's rewind here. Let's
reset.
rewind.
Let's reset. Shohei Ohtani.
Let's just pretend like that segment didn't happen. You were on pace for a dream year. You had the World Baseball Classic.
Home runs.
It ends with the World Baseball Classic ends with arguably one of the greatest at-bats we've ever witnessed in our lifetime. It ends in your favor. As I was saying, you had optimism about the postseason. You were on track for the most insane contract we've ever seen in baseball. And after Wednesday night, that dream kind of goes up in smoke. Because we were looking at possibly $500 million.
Yeah.
And now we can dock how much off of that?
How many teams back out?
I don't think teams back out. I think teams look at Shohei and his camp and go, we still want you, but we're not paying for, and I say half the player. Half of Shohei Ohtani is still a full player anywhere else.
Yeah.
But you're not getting the Shohei that we've talked about for the last however many months, however many years. You're not getting that Shohei. And it's very possible that like this is the beginning of the end for Shohei as a guy, as a dude on the mound. He may come back as a long relief guy. He may come back as a closer, but I just don't think we can keep racking up innings with this guy as a starter. I just don't.
You say racking up innings, and that got my mind tickled a little bit. So I looked into this career that we've seen so far. 2018, made 10 starts for 51 2/3 innings. 2020, he didn't pitch all of 19. 2020, 2 starts. 2021, 23 starts, getting a little better, 130 innings. Last year, 2022, 28 starts, 166 innings. And then this year, we'll finish with 23 starts again at 132 innings. I get the dominance of while he's on the mound. It's special. And chucking 100, special. Putting up good numbers. But I don't think you can pay him before this injury. I don't think you can pay him top of the line starter ace money if you're not getting at least, I need 175 innings out of my ace every year without fail. I'm sorry. Like, I get what you're doing. I get you're a unicorn. I get you're insane and that you're the best athlete playing baseball right now. Fine. That's dope. We can agree there. But everyone's talking about like the contract being a $200 million contract on the pitcher side and then $300 with the hitter side. Why? You need to have a 6-man rotation. You have to. Because that's the way he operates. So that bag drops significantly for me. I would immediately take $100 million off of whatever offer I had drawn up. As soon as this news came out this morning, I'm taking $100 million off. It's hard to handle this. As great as it is, and as amazing as it is to see, this is hard to handle. On the other side of things, it sucks because like this isn't the first Japanese pitcher we've seen go through this stuff. There's a difference. There's something different. We've talked about like the differences in baseballs and stuff. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of an adjustment period finding your new grip or finding, your new release point. But we're seeing this over and over again. And I know injuries, and the UCL injury and TJ, it's all over baseball, but it's almost like a guarantee when a Japanese pitcher comes over here, they're going to get hurt. I don't know, man.
The grade of the tear is unknown. What we do know is Shohei Ohtani will not pitch again this season.
Shouldn't play again.
Speculation is that he may need TJ. I think it's likely. My personal opinion, I think that's where it's going to head. But yeah, you mentioned that he shouldn't play again. The last 24 hours have been really bizarre with that situation. Because you got to look at the whole picture. Okay, so Mike Trout is on the IL. Mike Trout comes back. He's off the IL for a day.
Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Goes 1 for 4. Does not play in the doubleheader because there was still some discomfort there. Shohei, meanwhile, in the first game when he's on the mound, that's when he's removed from the game. We find out, obviously, later that night that it was a UCL tear. He knew about this. They talked about it in between games with the front office. They talked about this with management, front office. He said he wanted to go out for the second game and hit, which he did. And then you get the clip of him and De La Cruz out at second, kind of mess around with each other. Meanwhile, he knows about the injury.
Yeah.
He's standing there knowing that, like, I'm not going to throw again.
Yeah, because game 1, he went 1 1/3 on the mound. And then gets a knock.
I think I saw that the initial report came back that it was arm fatigue, and then they got some
Well, like he got pinch
done.
hit for. He didn't finish the game in the lineup.
No, but he did. Did he not have another AB before?
I think he did. Well, hold on. Let me go back. I lost it.
I think.
No.
I mean, either way, he hit in the second game.
Had 1 at bat. 1 for 1.
So, my question, I'm not as surprised with the Shohei thing of him being like, no, look, I got a tear with the UCL, but I still want to come back and hit. That clearly just seems to be the kind of guy he is, because we talked about it. We've already on this episode, we've mentioned the World Baseball Classic. This is a guy that knew in March, he had known before that, but he goes out there in the World Baseball Classic in March knowing that he has a $500+ million check sitting on the table waiting for him. But he's going to go out there and give you everything he has in World Baseball Classic, which he did. That just seems to be the kind of player he is. I don't know if you credit that to the way they bring up their players, even from like an early level. Like there's certainly a level of respect for the game. Yeah. That just seems to be inherent there. So I'm not as surprised by the fact that Shohei wanted to come back a second game. I'm more surprised at, well, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't use surprise, because we've seen how the Angels handle star players before. Why then all of a sudden, because you can't tell me they're not related. Why, when we find out about Shohei essentially done for the year on the mound, do then we hear, oh yeah, Mike Trout's back on the IL? Why was Mike Trout brought back?
Yeah,
off of the IL to then just be put right back on, because you knew deep down, this season was a lost cause. You're not doing anything, and spare me the whole business about like, well, we needed to get back. It's getting late in the season. We need to do what we can to try to pull out a postseason spot. You're not making the postseason. So why do you pull Mike Trout off the IL? And even if that's him saying, I'm ready, I think I'm ready, I need to come back, you need to recognize that if he's not, with the history that he has, if he's not ready to go, don't bring him back. And it just makes you look even more foolish when then you lose your other star on the mound, essentially nullifying your season, to then go, yeah, maybe we should put him back on the IL. That's reckless. That's reckless. I don't care who you are. I don't care what team you are. Yeah. That's reckless. Especially in a season where you had no hope down the stretch.
It's also crazy that Trout is like the secondary part of this story. Like he's the afterthought. You know what I mean? That's wild. That's wild. I did a little something fun. I prepared today. You saw me writing down some notes using my calculator over here. I prepared. So I got a little something fun. I said probably a month ago, we put a post out on it that I was comparing Mike Trout's career to Ken Griffey Jr.'s career. And it wasn't necessarily like the numbers are the same. It was more of like, we're witnessing one of the greatest talents ever being struck down by injuries, and he won't be remembered as the GOAT because of those injuries. That was my argument. No one on Twitter or Instagram really listened to that full quote. They just popped off in the comment section. So I did a little digging. Ran over to my baseball reference. Let me get my notes here. Get this. So Trout is 31 in his 13th season. Junior also was 31 in his 13th season. Trout has played 1,489 games. Griffey, 1,791. Trout has 368 home runs to Griffey's 460. Trout has 1,624 hits to Griffey's 1,987 hits. Trout's 1,106 runs to Griffey's 1,220 runs. Trout's 206 stolen bases to Griffey's 175 stolen bases. Here's the thing. You look at that, and I know like we can talk about the 2020 COVID year kind of messing some of this up a little bit. You're talking about a 300 game difference, 302 game difference between Griffey at the age of 31 and Trout at the age of 31. Trout is experiencing these injuries earlier than what Griffey did. Griffey started feeling that stuff. Yeah, he had that broken wrist catch against the wall like in the 90s, but everything started happening after 2001 was my cut line. That was Griffey's 13th year. It was 2001. Everything was starting to happen after that. But you look at these numbers and you're already borderline Hall of Fame. When you have 460 home runs, 1,900 hits, you're already there. And I'm not saying Trout isn't there. But when we're going to look back at all this stuff, Trout's not going to be a 3,000 hit guy. Trout's possibly not going to be a 500 home run guy. And my argument was that we have love as a society to just, as a sports society, love to just toss around the phrase GOAT everywhere. We throw that everywhere. And that's been my argument for a few years now. Trout is amazing. Incredible baseball player. A Hall of Famer. But I can't use the word GOAT. And I think that conversation has officially died with this. Don't tell me he's going to come back post 31 years old and do the same things he's been doing. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, like even if he comes back 100% for the next 5-6 years, he's going to be fighting age.
Yep.
That's just the reality of it.
Yep.
He's not 22 anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about other guys. Albert Pujols is going to end up with crazy better numbers. Probably double than some of these numbers. So, it's tough, but stop calling me crazy for making that comparison. Mike Trout's kind of like, if we're going across sports, it's like Bo Jackson or Barry Sanders. You know what I mean? Guys that Barry Sanders didn't really have injuries. He just retired early. But Bo Jackson was like considered one of the greatest athletes and then dealt with some stuff. Trout, it sucks, man. It really does suck. And I think if you're the Angels front office, like you got to start having that conversation of, how much does bringing Ohtani back hurt Trout by plugging up that DH spot? I think we're now in that conversation where Trout probably needs to DH 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
See center fielders get hurt too often. And I know these injuries have come whenever, mainly offensively, but if you can give him 2 or 3 days a week off days, it makes a big difference. So I think that has to start because that contract's already there. You know what I mean? That money is already there. You haven't spent on Ohtani yet. To eliminate the ability for Trout to DH with an already investment, I don't know. I wouldn't be so quick to offering Ohtani and trying to bring him back, I think. And it's not necessarily about this injury with Ohtani and him maybe not coming back as the dominant pitcher, but it is more about like protecting your current investment. Is that a crazy argument? I don't think it's that crazy.
We had somebody in our fantasy group chat throw out the conspiracy that the Angels were trying to sabotage Shohei to hurt his market and to get him to come back.
Get him at a discount.
I mean, I tell you what, man, with the way the world works these days, I don't put anything past anybody. I'm open to all conspiracies. If you can put together a strong case, I'll hear you out because I believe one or two myself. So I'm not gonna act like I'm immune to conspiracy theories.
That could call for a 3-0 fake.
I could, yeah, we could
really could return.
We need to do a deep dive on the handling of Shohei's career in August of 2023. So put a bow on this. What do you, assuming he goes to free agency with he goes to a team aside from the Angels, somebody lays out a contract. I mean, I guess you could throw the Angels in the mix. It just makes things a little tricky because of obviously this injury happening on their watch and all that. But maybe not who. How much do you think he gets in whatever contract he ends up with?
I think it's for sure now down to the 400s. I don't think we crack 500. I think we're for sure in the 400s. I don't think that the because we've seen like 380 before, right? I think we've seen like 360 to 380 before.
I think so.
So I think it's in the 400s. But you're getting like Juan Soto is now getting a little closer than he was before. I don't think it's 5.
Here's a thought. Again, kind of wrapping this up. Do you think that there's enough time between now and when free agency opens up for people to kind of forget about this? Because it's easy to sit here today, the day that the news drops, and go,
yeah, get emotional.
Oh, for sure, he's getting the teams are getting a discount, shave $200 million off of it.
Yeah,
but do you think that people will soon, these front offices will forget and go, maybe we do need to push 500 mil. Because if this happened in the last week of the postseason, okay, that's one thing. But it's August 24th. We still have some time for this, for the memory of this injury to kind of dissolve away a little bit. And sure, like if he gets TJ, you can't forget it. It's not going to disappear. But just this narrative that like, well, he's not going to bring you the value on the mound that he used to.
It probably depends on like the team, obviously. Like it depends on the security of that roster. Like when you talk Dodgers, like you have Walker Buehler coming back next year, so you have the chance to like fill that. Like you see a team that's already doing fine without him, and then next year you have an ace that's going to return. And it kind of softens that blow for the first year. I think it definitely depends on certain teams. Even like everyone loves the idea of him in Seattle. I kind of do too, which is like the Ichiro steps that have been laid there. And like Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, like George Kirby, like you have a rotation there that can handle that. I think it depends on the rotation mainly. Like imagine Ohtani and Kershaw just like rotating starts. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you got this week, I'll take next week. Because we talked about that last time. Like if he does come back, you're gonna see the same type of innings. And if you combine those two with their starts and you crack 200 innings between the two, perfect. That gets the job done. So I don't know. I think it depends on that for sure. But
they've already made rules and compromises to the rules of baseball to allow Shohei to do what he does. Why not?
Rightfully so, though. Like
no,
I think,
for sure. I don't mean that in a negative way, but I'm just saying we've already made changes to the game to allow Shohei to fully put on display what he's capable of doing. Why not make it a rule that allows him and Kershaw to alternate innings on a given start day? Mm-hmm. Have Shohei go out and throw the odd innings, have Kershaw throw the even innings. Like, why not? Why not? Who says no? Speaking of the National League, let's hop over to the National League here real quick and look just briefly at the current state of the playoff picture for that. Certainly more snug, I think we can all agree, than across in the American League, because as it stands right now, as of Thursday morning, you got the Phillies with the top wild card spot. They're 2.5 games up. You got the Cubs and the Reds following suit. And then outside of the cut line, you got the D-backs, who are half a game out. You got the Giants also half a game out. And you got the Marlins 2 games out. And if you really want to, If you really want to, you can include the Padres at 6 games back. So, look, just for the sake of narrative here, we're going to include them just because it makes the picture that much crazier. So if you include the Padres, you've got 7 teams.
I love it, dude. That's wild. September is going to be sick.
Well, hold on. Let's not jump the gun here. The Brewers are only up. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, the Brewers are only up
3.5.
3.5 in the division. So, in terms of the wild card conversation, if the Cubs keep playing well, you could even lump the Brewers into the conversation of potentially holding the wild card spot when it turns October.
Yeah. The Brewers have looked hot lately, though. 7-3 in their last 10. They do look good.
5 in a row. But
who do you want? And I say want, not predict, not what you think. What do you want to see?
Who do I want to see for the 3 wild card slots?
I want an epic collapse from the Brewers because they're boring. So I want Cubs to take the division. I want the Phillies, the Reds, and the Diamondbacks for the wild card teams. That's what I want.
No,
because sounds. I would have to quit my job to watch all those games. I think
I'm with you on the epic collapse for the Brewers. I want that. I'm not saying it will happen. Again, these are wants.
Or
I'm not saying it. Yeah, I'm not.
Wish list.
I'm not predicting that. These are wants. I want an epic collapse from the Brewers, which means the Cubs. You're saying the Cubs would take the division?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I can get on board with that. So then that leaves. I want Philly to grab the top spot, of course. I think I'm with you, except. I don't know. Vibes are high in Chicago, Wrigley. Can we slot the Cubs in there?
So you want the
Cubs? I want what you got, except
you want the Reds to win the division.
I could
and
do
then Cubs in the wild card.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. The Cubs to take the division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You have the Cubs win the division, and the Reds with that other National League Central wild card spot.
Right.
Correct.
And I want the Brewers to just fold. I want them to just get a big flat tire, and then the Diamondbacks sneak in. That way I can go to a game.
Yeah. Was it not just like 2 weeks ago that you were kind of out on the D-backs?
I was. I think everyone else was too. But they're 8-2 in their last 10. They figured things out. So let's party.
That's what happens when you play 162 games.
That's what happens when Nate comes out and says he's done with you.
Yeah, I can't go against my early season excitement. The way I was hyping up the D-backs in March, I can't go against that, so I'm going to have to ride that out. So give me the D-backs, give me the Phillies, in no particular order, of course. And I don't care.
I need to see Philly hosting a wild card
without
game.
a doubt.
That has to happen.
I could absolutely do without the Giants. Don't need them in there.
Speaking of which, did you catch that game last night? Did you see that? First of all, Trey Turner is definitely back. They're down 4-0. Trey comes up, I think, in like the 6th. They go back-to-back, him and Schwarber,
yeah.
And then Bryce in the 9th to tie it up.
3-run jack off the foul pole.
Sucks that they didn't pull that dub off.
Yeah,
that was an exciting game.
How do you not pull that out? Yeah. Just a little side note. Camilo Duvall, 4 straight blown saves.
Goodness.
Yeah, I don't need the Giants in my postseason.
I got a quick little bet about the Giants. I'm gonna put the over under at 1 Over under, I'll go 1.5. How about that? Over under 1.5, the number of times we see Gabe Kapler wear a jersey as a Giants manager.
Just throughout his tenure there?
Throughout his tenure.
From this day forward?
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this for sure.
I'm going to take
we maybe have to revisit 3 or 4 years down the road, but
it's tough. I think I'm going to have to take the under.
I think so too.
I think so too. Take the under. He's a big short sleeve hoodie guy, big cutoff hoodie guy.
That guy, I think, spends more time looking in the mirror than most women. Yeah,
he loves himself.
Sure does.
But back to your question to kind of wrap up the National League talk. I'm gonna have to go. I'd love to see the Marlins in there, man.
I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate it.
See the Marlins in there because I would.
So you want Cincy to collapse? You're fine with them?
Well, it's not even really collapse. I mean, because they're already on the. Well, I mean, they're in as of right now, but I mean, they're kind of like a fringe team anyway. They don't. The Brewers would be more of a collapse than anything.
I just don't get it. I don't get the Brewers. I don't understand it.
We don't need to talk about the Brewers. I'm gonna I'm gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna look out for your mental health. We don't need to talk about the Brewers anymore. It's not good for you. It's not good for you.
It's not.
So give me Phillies. Wait.
You want Phillies, Reds, Marlins, and then Cubs taking the division?
How is that? Now I'm confused. How is that different from yours? You had Phillies.
I have Cubs taking the division. I want Phillies, Reds.
Oh, D-backs, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I want Phillies, D-backs, Marlins. That's my 3.
Phillies, D-backs, Marlins. That's also fire. Cute story for the Reds, but you're just you're not buying it this year. That's fair.
I mean, National League
Vibes would
Central.
be absurd at Great American.
National League Central has been the division of cute stories this year. You got the Pirates, the Reds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep that going.
Give me the Marlins. Get the Marlins in there. Marlins, D-backs, Phillies.
I like the Marlins. All of these teams are like 4-6, 6-4 in their last 10. Someone stand out. Someone do something. And Brewers, please stub your toe.
Just collectively, as an entire organization, stub your toe.
All on the same chair leg in the clubhouse. Everyone needs to go barefoot as well. I could get something.
I'm just picturing everybody lining up.
It's like a Family Guy clip.
Everybody just lining up, going up to the chair, just taking a hack at it with her foot. Well, Nate said to, so we got to do it. All right, let's highlight some guys that have been going off as of late. Eddie Rosario, the reigning National League Player of the Week since August 14th, has an OPS of 1.718.
What?
Since August 14th. That includes four bombs and an on base of 593.
I think I remember Braves fans being all done with him. I think they were complaining. Such as me. I feel like I heard that.
You're correct in that. Apt analysis. Apt analysis. Which brings up another point. I don't know if you saw the tweet that MLB put out, but 7 Braves with 20 plus home runs this year.
Yeah, dude.
With Eddie Rosario being one of them with his, I think his latest home run was his 20th, which I think gave them.
Where's Kevin Pillar at? He's got to be. Is he one of the 7? Let me see. So I thought he was having a pretty good year too. He's at nowhere near. He's at 6.
No, he's not. Which is something that Braves fans were up in arms about because.
But if he gets to 10, think of the number of double-digit home runs you got in that lineup.
Rosario, I believe, was has been sat in favor of Pilar for a few games now. So
relax. You got enough offense to go around, dude. Let somebody play some solid defense. Good Lord. Kevin Pilar deserves a role in that squad.
Yes and no. If you want Eddie Rosario a la 2021 October, you're going to need to keep him...
Get him cooking.
You're going to need to keep him with consistent ABs.
1,700 OPS this week? Is that what you said?
Since August 14th, so over a week. 18 OPS.
All right. It's pretty good.
Another guy, Aaron Judge, which Nate pretty much spoiled all that, so this is no fun.
Sure did.
First career 3 home run game for the captain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure you did. But they put up a graphic. I think Yes Network put out a graphic after his 3rd home run, indicating that he had reached 27 homers, which is 5th in the American League. And he had done it in only 72 games, which is tied for 149th in the American League.
It reminds me of like when Trout did, I think Trout hit 40 last year, and he only had like 117 games or something like that. It's kind of like that.
So I did a little digging because I saw somebody put out a tweet that said Aaron Judge is essentially having the same year he did last year, just with fewer games. And so I looked it up. His home run percentage last year was 8.9%. This year it's 8.7. The second highest home run rate of his career. So last year, as you'd imagine, obviously the highest of his career, 8.9. But this year he's hitting him at a rate of 8.7%. The second highest in his career. So good for Judge.
Yeah. And as he went, 2 of those 3 were big boy land, by the way. Over the bullpen in right center and then dead center for the grand slam.
Yeah. Yeah, ensuring that the Yankees did not lose 10 straight for the first time since 1913.
Needed it. It's big time.
Hold on.
Sometimes you just got to be clutch.
I need to do a fact check.
Since that time?
So they would have... He's lucky. He's real lucky he did what he did. Because if the Yankees would have lost 10 straight, it would have been the first time since, as I said, 1913, which was only a year after the Titanic sank. Just to put things into perspective.
I don't know what would have been received worse, the Titanic or a 10-game losing streak in New York in 2023. I don't know what would have broken hearts more.
I laugh. I shouldn't be laughing, but honestly, like that's actually a really good question because I think Yankee fans have absolutely had it this year.
Definitely.
Oh, that's tough, man. But you know what? Good for Judge doing what he can, doing his part. Some fantasy players to keep an eye on.
For half the league that's in the postseason now. It's got to be postseason for pretty much everybody now.
Yeah, but like you still, in fact, the only moves you can make are free agency.
I know.
So
that's what I'm saying. But half the league, that's
sure.
Like the people still in it, you should listen up.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is more important than ever. Like you need to pay attention to your personnel. Cole Reagans of the Royals. I know. The Royals. You go, what? How is that possible? Why would I add a pitcher from the Royals? He's currently rostered in 12.9% of leagues. He's recently seen a boost of 7.2, so get him while you can. He has 36 strikeouts over his last 4 starts. Since being recalled from AAA, he has an ERA of 1.93 with 44 strikeouts over 5 starts. So if you need a spot start, I mean, certainly go take matchups into consideration, but
I like that.
Consider Cole Reagans. Another guy, we already talked about the Cubs. Adbert Alzolay, 19 saves and 20 opportunities this year. Got an ERA of 2.70, and he's currently comfortably holding down the closer spot for the Cubs, who, as we just talked about, are making a playoff push. So I think you're going to get the best out of him moving forward down the stretch. So if you need, depending upon how your point systems are set up in your respective leagues, if like ours, I know values saves pretty highly, consider adding him for a nice little chunk of points here and there throughout the home stretch here. So that's that weekend series to watch. For me, I got the Dodgers Red Sox game 1, Lance Lynn versus Cutter Crawford. Oh, by the way, Mookie Betts and JD Martinez return to Fenway. Lance Lynn versus Cutter Crawford.
Mookie coming off a 5-hit day, by the way. I just got that little update like 30 seconds ago. 5 knocks today.
Game 2. Wait, what? 5? How? It's. When did the game start?
Early.
Oh, wow. They're in the 9th already. Wow. And then game 3.
Really threw you off your game, didn't I?
No, it's TBA for Sunday for the Dodgers. Let me just check, make sure. See if they've added anything. Stand by. I want to give you the most up-to-date factual information that I can.
I'm super excited about it.
That's the least I can do for you guys. All right. Well, that's not going to work. So let's go to Dodgers.com. Nope, still TBD.
Trash.
So you've got TBD versus Tanner Houck. It's going to be a good matchup.
TBD's got some special stuff.
His whiff rate, career high this year. The Red Sox, still in the hunt. I said what I said, but can't dispute the fact that they're in the hunt. And then Dodgers, I don't know, just being interesting. I'm a sucker for historical matchups like this. Dodgers, Red Sox. That's for just sure. Good baseball. It's
Is that a Sunday night game by chance?
Oh no, that's Pacific time. So that would be, it's just a 1:35 start. I saw 10:35 and I was like, why are they playing at 10:35? But that's Pacific time. So now I don't know who the now you got me curious. Who is the
Got me wondering.
Who is the Sunday night baseball game? It's gonna be like the freaking like Royals and Yankees or something.
Braves Giants, I believe.
Okay, that's acceptable.
Much better.
I guess. Okay.
Much better.
Much better. That's what I got.
Mine is the two teams we were talking about before that literally have the same record. Reds coming into town to the old PHX to face the Diamondbacks. Some guy named Brett Kennedy pitching for the Reds game 1. No offense, just don't know who you are. Diamondbacks, you got Brandon Fat. No idea how to say that. Just sounds like you're trying to hold in a sneeze. Game 2, Riley Green going against Zach Davies, and then Graham Ashcraft going against Slade. You got to help me out on this one. You got to look it up. Ciccone?
How do you spell the first name?
Slade, Slade, Cecconi. I really want to get like super. I want to get really Italian with it and be like Ciccione. No, that's more like Portuguese, huh? Ciccione. Yeah, I think you're right. Ciccone, huh?
I think you're right, though. I think it's
Ciccone.
Would you say Ciccone?
Ciccone.
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be Ciccone. That has to be it.
I don't mind Ciccione either. That sounds kind of cool. But his first name's Slade, so that
Ciccone. Slay
Sounds sick
Sessoni.
too. Yeah. Anyway, I was just hello. That's a big game based on what we were just talking about like 5 minutes ago.
Based on your wish list for this postseason.
Yeah.
Hey,
this is huge.
Speaking of which, you mentioned what was it? Brandon? Is it Brandon Fat? I heard a joke the other day. Why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom?
I don't know.
Because the P is silent. Closing the book. Thoughts on Tropicana Field scrubbing any remains of Wander Franco marketing material?
Did it happen? I didn't see that.
It did. Yep.
All of it gone, huh? All the jerseys, all the jerseys.
Yeah, I saw the jerseys. There's no jerseys in the team shop. Again, this is just what I saw. Maybe the case is different, but that's just what I saw. No jerseys, and they were taking down like signage and things like that.
We're gonna have to get our locals on it. I think Colin is in the fantasy league. He lives in Tampa. Maybe he can go see a game and confirm for us or not. I mean, that sounds like the right move. Sounds like the right move.
I mean, if you're the Rays, are you doing this as
Seems
a precautionary
guilty.
move, or
Yeah,
do the Rays
yeah.
know something we don't?
That's the question. I would lean towards, I don't know. That's what I would lean towards. A big IDK.
Because
But
if you're the Rays,
smart
and you're-
move, either
and you're
way.
scrubbing the park, and you don't know whether he's guilty or not, are you really allowing room for due process there? How does that?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how many people are going to turn that jersey, you know, where they put like the duct tape and put like a 1 in front of it to make it 15 or 51, change the name. I'm thinking we're going to see a little bit of that too, so that'll be exciting. Yeah, good call by the Rays. Needed to happen.
And lastly here, closing the book, Oakland A is mathematically eliminated from the postseason. Thoughts?
I think that happened in May, so I think it was I think someone just forgot to actually tweet that out.
Hey man, I'm just going off of factual information. There was people getting upset with me.
Took a while. Is that
And the
I wonder
replies?
what the earliest elimination has been in like 162 season. Like how early? Because that's an early one.
Yeah,
Not
they got
even till
eliminated. It was
September yet.
August 23rd. I had people going like, they're like, well, you can throw the Angels in there, you can throw the Yankees in there. I'm like, no, you can't, because they're
Not
not eliminated.
mathematically.
It's
Yeah.
that simple. Like, stop. I get what you're doing, but stop.
Yeah. I think I saw the report on the 22nd that there was like no rumors of selling. I think I saw something like
Yeah,
that.
Fisher was like, yeah, no, not selling.
23rd, eliminated. Oh, man. Burn it down. Terrible.
What a terrible organization. That's all I got. We'll see you guys next week.
Yee. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy. All right, little unfortunate bonus segment that we got here. As the podcast gods would have it, as I was clicking end recording on our regularly scheduled episode, we get the update that Steven Strasburg is planning to retire from baseball, so we figured we'd slap this on the back end just to make sure that we got to it, because this is big news, man, and it's sad news. I don't know how much more sad baseball news I can take.
I know.
I don't know how much more I can take, but a report came out from Jesse Doherty that he is tentatively planning to announce his retirement next month. So, I mean, this is hot off the press. So we're reacting within mere minutes of this news breaking, but baseball is certainly losing one of the better arms it's ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, I think we knew it was coming, right? 8 starts since that 2019 ring and World Series MVP. Total of, I don't know, like 34 innings or something. Not even 32 innings. Yeah, just tough. I think we knew, like part of us knew. I feel like everyone knew. We weren't ready to accept it. I mean, it's the, what's it called? The thoracic
outlet syndrome,
which is a nerve thing, right? It's like a nerve damage thing. So yeah. Yeah, man, I think we knew. And it sucks. But great career, man. Great career. I think for me, just like for our age, he was like the first number 1 pick that had like the hype and build up that we were like, like we understood the hype. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we were just cracking into that age of like paying attention to that kind of thing. And just seeing him and like I'll never forget the black pants at San Diego State with Tony Gwynn. And
if I recall, and I think I've shared this story on here before, if I remember correctly, they played UVA in the postseason. Like I think it was like a super regional. And at the time I was just like a huge UVA fan. And I was like following them the whole way. And then I think they met up with San Diego State. And I remember watching him. I was like, and not fully comprehending like the hype that had been surrounding him leading up to that point in his career. But I was like, this dude is going to be the real deal. And then he goes out his debut, strikes out 14, goes on to do great things for the Nationals, which obviously includes the 2019 ring, which I'm so glad for his sake. I am so glad that he was able to
at least you got that. Like, you know, being a number 1 pick, having all that hype around you and just dealing with stuff pretty much his entire career. It looks like, I mean, he had a really good stretch from, what was it, like 2012 to basically 2019. So like a good 6-7 year stretch of like solid performance. Where a couple years mixed in, he did crack 200 innings twice in his career, 215. And he made 34 starts in 2014. 33 starts in that 2019 year, 209 innings. So just really unfortunate, but like I think it's good for him. You know, I don't think I could handle another comeback and letdown. You know, I don't think I could handle it. I wouldn't want to see it again. So tough, but awesome performance in 2019. I hope that's what he gets remembered for.
When he was on one of the most dominant arms in baseball.
Just nasty.
And unfortunately, he'll probably go down as one of the biggest what ifs.
Yep.
Just a real shame, man. But what a career for Strasburg. 3-time All-Star, 2019 World Series champion, World Series MVP.
Yeah. 1,700 strikeouts. Career 3.24 ERA. 113 wins. I know we're not so big on that anymore, but man, flashes of being the best. So sad day, but I think it's just better for everybody, you know.
I think it's better for his quality of life, man. That's a tough decision to make, but to make that decision and be at a place where you're at peace with it, I think that's huge for him moving forward. And I really hope he's able to recover from the damage that the body of work that he put forth took, like the toll that it took on his arm, because man, what a tough go he's had of it. But you know what?
To me, like this kind of rings like for the pitching side of things, it's like a Don Mattingly type thing. You know what I mean? Like, everyone loved him. He had flashes of being the best in the league and just, riddled with injuries and stuff. But he did get his ring. Donnie didn't. So, I don't know. That's kind of what comes to mind for me.
I might need to celebrate Strasburg's career by going and watching his 2019 World Series
There you
performance.
Go. Can we get him as like an advisor somewhere? Can the Nats bring him in as an advisor, like a spring training special advisor, or maybe he goes back to San Diego State and gets a coaching job? That'd be cool.
I feel like that. I mean, I don't know the guy from Adam, but I feel like that might be his speed. Going back to San Diego State, kind of staying out of the
That'd
spotlight
be
a
sick.
little bit.
Be the dude there. Be the legend that came out of there. Put him on the map as a baseball school. Definitely put him on the map.
Love it. All right. Well, take 2 on wrapping up. We don't need to do our outros, but we will see you guys next week.